Okay guys, Everyday Knife Guy here, and as you can see I've been having too much fun with this. Time to stop and do a review. This is my first Spyderco, made in Golden, Colorado, USA earth. Eric Glesser's signature on there, and this is the Manix 2. So let's go ahead and take a look. I just picked this up a couple of days ago. I actually got this on an Instagram raffle, so this knife cost me the sum of $20 US, which was for 2 spots in the raffle. It is used, but it's still in good condition. The only thing you can really see in terms of condition is, well, the blade shows fingerprints badly, as you can see, the coating. But it is a little thin, the coating. It has been used a little bit. The pocket clip's still in great condition, which is always a good telltale sign of how much a knife's been carried and used. So overall we're pretty much looking at an as-new Manix 2. As you can see, it's fairly sharp. That's without me touching it up at all. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look. I'm going to clear this stuff out of the way first. Yeah, so this is my first American-made Spyderco, and so far I'm very impressed. There's definitely a little bit of quality and feel difference from the Chinese Spydercos that I own. It's a larger blade for me. It's about 8 inches overall opened. Oops. See, deployment's a little bit stiff there. Let's just have a look at the dimensions first before we get into anything else. It's quite a heavy knife, weighs about 5 ounces. See, it's about 8 inches overall. Blade length around 3-inch cutting length, and the handle about 4.5, 4 3/4, something like that. So quite a hefty blade, quite a large blade. Nice thin profile though, not fat by any means. Let's see if we can get a look at the blade centering for you. This is never easy in this light, but there you go. It's just a touch off to the pocket clip side, but very good. No play there. Zero play there, up and down or side to side. Lovely leaf-shaped blade. But I was looking at these to buy. I actually was looking in between the Paramilitary 2 and the Manix 2. And I actually prefer the blade shape a little bit in the Paramilitary 2. I'd say that even after handling this one. But they are both very nice functional blades, lovely sharp point there, spear tip shape almost. And as you can see, it's Crucible CPM S30V. This is a black coated version. There is a satin blade as well. And they actually do, this is full flat ground of course, they actually do a hollow ground version, if that's more your thing. And yeah, looking at this knife, I mean, you can see there's a bit of an interesting ratio between blade length and handle. Quite a large handle, but the payoff for that is great ergonomics. Hand really locks in there. There's a nice rise, customary rise on the back of the thumb hole there on the Spyderco blades. And one of the best features about this knife is the jimping. You can see there's great, very fine jimping, but it's just sharp enough to lock your thumb on there. And that actually continues right around the liners. So it's quite tricky being a black knife to show this, but you can see there, jimping continues right along the top of the liner, underneath, right around there, and on the underside of this forward choil, and also right along here on the liner underneath the back of the handle. So the result of all that is once your hand is on there, and as you can see it fully fills my hand, once your hand is on there it is totally locked in. So there's 2 positions really. You can be holding it back here, and that's quite nice for most purposes, but if you really need to choke up for detail work, this forward choil is excellent. You just move your hand forward and it gives you so much control over that large blade, and you know, you really feel like you're totally in touch with what the edge is doing, so that's really nice. My only criticism of that would be I would prefer if this forward choil was more kind of the radius of this rear guard here. The finger fits nicely in there. Forward choil, I mean, I don't have large or thick fingers by any means, but I do feel a little bit like my fingers wanting to slip forward over this little guard and into danger territory, so that's my only criticism of that really. Bit of a different lock on this one. This is the ball bearing lock. You can see there's a button on either side here, and you just pull that back. So as your blade rotates up, it's kind of hard to show this lock, but as it rotates up, basically the ball bearing is getting pushed back in the spring, and as it comes into position, that just locks into place into a cutout in the rear of the blade. So once it's in there, it's a super solid feeling lock. Similar feel to Benchmade Axis lock, though a slightly different mechanism. And to release, just pull back, snaps back into place. Now, one other result of that is I feel the deployment is a little bit stiff. Now, this is still a fairly new knife, I believe, so I guess that's customary. I can deploy pretty much with most fingers, and of course thumb. So yeah, I always have trouble with forefinger underneath. I don't know why that is, but yeah, it's nice. It's a very nice smooth action on it. Feels very solid. Now obviously you can also use the lock. You can pull this off and flick it open like that, closed like that. It takes a bit of getting used to. I'm not there yet. But yeah, so basically it's a totally free swinging blade. As you can see, once you hold the lock off, it is totally loose there. But once it's in place, it feels super sturdy. So yeah, very nice. Pocket clip on this is tip up only, but it is for left or right carry. You see the 3 screws at the back there. Fairly deep carry. Oops. Get this to focus. Yeah, you can see there's maybe, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch above there to the screws. Just a nice simple pocket clip, all blacked out in this version. I'm not entirely sure if the satin blade, I assume it would be a satin pocket clip. 3 screws there for left hand carry. Really nice oversized lanyard hole, I like that. Let's get a bit of cord here. This is ungutted 550 paracord. As you can see, doubled up. That goes through there no problem at all, so you can fit pretty much whatever you want on there. The back part of the knife is flow through. You can see just the one standoff here for that oversized lanyard hole, and then forwards it's kind of a front spacer, I guess, which contains the lock mechanism and gives it a really nice solid feel up in the front of the handle. You can see that there, so it's very, very flow through at the back, only that one standoff. So yeah, ergonomics are great, feels really nice in the hand, lovely for slicing work. Yeah, I love that back and forward position, the way you can move up and down on the knife there. So comparable, yeah, I guess a lot of people compare this with the Paramilitary too. I believe it's the same blade steel, or is it S35? I'm not sure. But again, a similar knife. This is a little bit cheaper, and I think a little bit shorter. But quality product nonetheless. Let's have a little size comparison with a few other blades here. So I'll put the Manix in the middle. Another Spyderco, the Chinese-made Tenacious. Obviously inferior blade steel. This is only 8CR 13 MOV, but it's similar in dimensions. Sitting side by side, you can see the blades really quite similar there, although you have that you don't have the same spear point shape on this one. Handle shape a little bit different. And one thing to note is there's actually an oversized Spidey hole on the Manix, so you can see there, if we put the Tenacious behind, you can see there's a little bit of difference, a millimeter all the way around or so. And yeah, that definitely feels a little bit different for deployment. Oops, catch that there. You can feel it's maybe a little harder to get a good purchase on if you're using your finger underneath. Of course you can Spidey drop as well. Nice smooth action for that. So yep, that's the Manix and Tenacious. A knife that I have that is very similar in dimensions is ZT-0566. Put that on that side. You can see pretty much identical handle and blade. Longer cutting edge on the ZT, you can see there. But yeah, both fairly weighty knives. Feel very different in a lot of ways. Large jimping on the ZT, much finer on the Manix. And I actually quite like the fine jimping. I feel like there's really good grip on the thumb. This feels a little rougher, but you know, both good in their own way. So cost for one of these, if you don't win an Instagram raffle, on Amazon.com, I think the full black coated version is a little over $100, about $110. You can pick up the satin version for less, and I think the hologram version is a little under $100 as well. So pretty good value for money, I'd say. Very solid knife, made in the USA, good blade steel, G10 handle scales, and I should mention these are not super grippy, but they have a nice texture, and you know, it certainly feels good in the hand. Great ergonomics, nice slicing knife, great EDC knife, because despite the handle size, in length it's really not too bulky in the pocket, nice thin profile, and yeah, I'd say definitely reasonable value for money. There's obviously a lot of knives available at that price. Huge number of Kershaws, CRKTs, and even Spydercos under that value. Endura, Delica, all the Chinese-made Spydercos, resilience, tenacious, persistence, all those blades. But if you are looking for a USA-made quality Spyderco, I'd say you could certainly do a lot worse than this. So, not a lot of cons to it. It's quite hard to find anything wrong. So far, I haven't been using it a huge amount, but you know, I did just get it. But I'm pretty happy so far, and yeah, I recommend you certainly give it a go. A lot of people will tend to go for the Paramilitary first, just because it's such a classic blade, and it's one of those blades that people say you really should own as a knife collector or knife guy. It's something you have to experience, but I'd probably put this in that category as well. Certainly worth trying. The lock mechanism is something you don't see a lot in Spydercos, and yeah, it's quite fun to play with. So there you have it, guys. Manix 2, my first impressions and overview. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them below. I appreciate that. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.